wow, I'm really lucky that the world has changed enough that I don't have to focus on like being a woman in a man's world. I can like just be a human in a human's world.
I never really thought of myself as a woman captain. And Clearwater was certainly a good environment where it wasn't particularly pointed out to you what you were or weren't.
Oh, that's so cool, you're a woman captain. And it was like, you don't want to have any reaction, really. You don't want to be a woman captain, you just want to be a captain.
Hi, I'm happy to see everyone here in this webinar. I see over 100 people have joined us already, so thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of She Sailor Sea Stories. If you don't know me, my name is Amali Knobloch, and I serve on the board of the National Women's Sailing Foundation. Tonight is extra special for me because I'm also the Outreach and Engagement Manager at the Hudson River Sloop Clearwater, the organization whose legacy inspired me to bring this event to life. So I wanted to take this opportunity to thank Debbie Huntsman, the president of the board of the National Women's Sailing Association, for allowing me to take up not one, but 2 nights of programming to toot the Clearwater horn. Clearwater is an organization, if you don't know, that launched in 1969 as a beacon of the Hudson Valley and was created to raise awareness about the environmental conditions of the river that we sail on. Since then, through 50 years of public programming, almost 500,000 people have crossed the deck of the sloop, many of whom's first direct interaction with the river took place on board with the captains and the crew. So tonight, in honor of Women's History Month, we're going to celebrate the legacy of 3 of those captains, Cate Cronin, Betsy Garthwaite, and Cindy Smith. There is something really special about the Clearwater community that has a storied past of female or female presenting leadership from on board the sloop all the way up to the board. Knowing how tough it can be a woman aboard any boat, let alone a tall ship, we thought it was important to share the stories of women who belonged and led this community, free from many of those negative experiences or disappointing behaviors that many of us experience on board all different kinds of boat today. Cate Cronin, who was the first female captain aboard the sloop Clearwater in 1980, the torch was handed to her by Peter Wilcox. We're really, really excited to hear from her.
Thanks, Molly. And good evening, everyone. Great to be here. It's a great honor to be invited. It was a terrifying moment, and I've had terrifying moments as captain of Clearwater. Unexpected jibe, broken prop shaft in New York Harbor, docking in 7-knot currents with no engine. Those moments were resolved one way or another with decisive action and quick work of a talented crew and support from the Clearwater community. And these are stories for another time. This was different and was a terrifying moment I've not shared with many. My sailing story starts when I was a young teen in Maine. I was practically falling into the huge stew pot that I was scrubbing my first day on the dish crew of the lobster restaurant on the Maine coast that summer. Ellen, also an underage dish crew buddy, pulled me out of that stew pot and pointed to the window. "You've got to see this. One of the big schooners is sailing close by." My family didn't sail, nor did we live anywhere near the coast. But for summer jobs, we headed to the coastal tourist areas for work. Ellen had local family who knew one of the owner captains of a couple old and repurposed cargo schooners now carrying passengers on week-long vacations. "You know, we could get paid just as little doing dishes on a schooner and have a lot more fun," she says. Ha, what a great idea. Though inexperienced and a few years too young, I started writing letters to a dozen captains. And in the meantime, got pretty fast at washing dishes before I landed on the deck, actually below decks in the galley on one of the main schooners. After 2 summers as a galley girl, I learned pure admiration for the women who cook in difficult small spaces for hungry crowds, respect for the dangers, the heavy moving objects, the booms, the gaffs, the huge sails, and always considering the safety of everyone. I learned to get my work done, get on deck, watch the crew, and be ready to haul a line or furl a sail, or do anything. Now, with no women role models as deck crew or captains, I knew I would have to find my own way. And I would use my galley skills as a launching pad. Now, going with the flow suited my personality more than trying to change it. Yet it planted the seed that change could happen. When I heard about the Clearwater in New York that still sailed after the main schooner season ended, I wrote another letter. Captain Peter Wilcox actually wrote back. He needed a relief cook for a month, the fall of 1976. Like many before and after me, I stretched that month to 6. It was a thrilling moment to be welcomed aboard by the first woman I'd ever seen as deck crew. Also, she wanted me to help her. Second mate Carol showed me how to handle lines, take the tiller, and so much more. I watched her closely, my first role model, quiet, capable, kind. As the new cook, I tossed together meals, but sometimes ignored the importance of the cook's role in the care and feeding of the crew. The following spring, as the whole crew worked day and night against the clock to get rigged and ready for the season, I was out at the tip of the bowsprit, hanging on the jib with Carol, when I hear, "Hey, Cronin, where's lunch?" I yell back, "Peanut butter and jelly for all in the galley." Captain Wilcox had other things in mind. Louder, "Cronin." Me, "Okay." I had found a unique community and was gaining new skills, was passionate about Clearwater's environmental causes, the pumpkin sail concerts, spontaneous evening music jams, or sailing through the quiet of the night drew me in. But soon I was off to Maine, then the Caribbean, to work on other traditional boats. The terrifying moment I referred to earlier is what brought me back to the Clearwater 3 years after I'd left. Actually, it was the 10-word telegram from Captain Peter Wilcox. "Cronin, heard you have 100-ton license. Stop. Leaving Clearwater, job yours. Stop. Start April. Stop." I was terrified. Peter believed I could do something I didn't know I could. I agreed. And Peter agreed to stay for a while and mentor me in every aspect of being Clearwater's captain. Well, almost. Navigating the often tricky waters of media attention as the first woman captain of Clearwater, I had to do it on my own. We didn't talk much about mentoring, just built it into the routine. Wilcox below decks doing paperwork while I handled the school programs, then on deck coaching me during the nighttime sails and the tricky dockings. We also didn't talk about exactly when it was time for me to go solo. But let's call it a leap of faith. The day Wilcox unilaterally decided it was time, but forgot to tell me, was a memorable moment that I'll share, just in case anyone else wants to know how to pull it off. On a late spring day, when I'm trying to rendezvous with the sloop after a few days off, the Clearwater gets underway from a town along the Hudson's west shore for a school program with 50 kids on board. I'm waiting at a wharf on the opposite shore to be picked up. As I watch the Clearwater sailing along in a light breeze, it becomes clear they'll just sail by and I'll need to jump. Just as first mate Patrick carefully closes the gap between the sloop and the wharf, Wilcox is hanging over the stern, reaching out a hand to help me get aboard. With my duffel in hand, as I'm making that leap, Wilcox, with his duffel in hand, leaps off. It's all yours, Cronin. Good luck. This might have been a terrifying moment. My first time as solo captain. It wasn't. I now knew that what Wilcox had known when he sent the telegram. I'd do okay with a lot of support. Thank you to all the Clearwater crews and community for giving me a chance and guiding me along the way. I've tried to pay it forward by doing the same for the women and men who sailed with me. Thank you.